So I also felt happy as you mentioned that there is no cutoff. But still, we'll try to not prolong as long. I mean, it should not go too much. At the same time, we'll try to understand the content of what Prabhupada is trying to share. Okay, with these words, I'm grateful to all of you for spending your time to understand Prabhupada books, to go deep in spiritual life. So we start with this beautiful song by Vaishnava Thakur, by Bhakti Thakur. The song also very befitting, and it's a song written on the NY verses only, based on NY verses Bhakti Thakur wrote. So mostly we'll be starting with this song, our sessions every time. It sets the mood, what actually the book is teaching, and what is the essence of spiritual life also. So being it's online, it's difficult to respond from your side, and it will make a. So I'll just sing line by line. Maybe you can at your place you can parallelly you can sing, no problem. Thank you. O he Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Vedase Karuna Kori.
O he Vaishnava Thakur, Dayar Sagar, Vidase Karuna Kori.
Diya Pada Chaya, Shodha hai Amaya, Tumara Charana Dhori. Diya Pada
Chaya, Shodha hai Amaya, Tumara Charana.
Chaya Vega Dumi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Deho Dase. Chaya Satsang. Maybe you can parallelly sing, just sing one line. Chaya Satsanga, Deho He Amare, Bhusati Sangira. Eka Kriya
Amar Nahi Paya Bala
Harinama
Sankirtane.
Tume kripa
Kripa
kori
Kori Santakin
Patakindiya
Deho Snanam.
Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro Tomara shakti ache Ami to kanga Krishna bole Ita
Pache Pache
O he Vaishnava
Thakur Dayar Sagar
Tera se
Rase
karu Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
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 Hare Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare Rama Rama
Rama
Rama Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhu
Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nittaya Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Shri Hari Ram Sankirtan ki Jai Shri Prabhupada
Jai.
Jai. Okay, this song definitely you might have heard before. So the second stanza mostly focuses on the four verses of NY Chaya Vegadomi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Dehodase, Chaya Satsanga. So 1, 2, 3, 4 verses are being spoken here. Maybe while seeing when we come to the verses, we can try to little bit discuss about the song also. But here the main essence is that we are seeking the mercy of the Prabhupada and all the Vaishnava Acharyas. But only by their mercy we can start spiritual life, we can continue in spiritual life, and we can, in fact, we achieve spiritual life success only by their mercy. So that's the essence of Vaishnava song prayer. We'll start with prayers and then we continue. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Namaः Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapatakamadam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी पशुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, we will start with our so today's session mostly will be an introduction and we will see the preface and then overview of the book. Some introduction we will have for the classes and about the book also, how it came, and then we will see preface. If time allows, then we will see the overview of the book in the different verses, what we are going to learn. As we move ahead in our course, we will be reciting the verses also. May not be today. I thought I'll keep the verses also with me so that we also learn the verses. It's very wonderful verses and it's also nice, very helpful to recite, and we'll also can learn these verses. May not be all because last 2-3 verses are quite tough and complicated, but still we can, as we keep on reciting, we can learn them as well. So we'll recite mostly 4-5 verses according to our text, 4-5 verses in each class, and then we'll continue ahead with discussing the verses. So regarding the NY book, mostly Bhakti Shastri as Prabhupada established in ISKCON. Prabhupada was very much desired, very much wanted all the devotees in ISKCON should be shastrically founded. He did not want some like those followers who are like Sahajiyas, those who are just based on their emotions, they practice spiritual life. Definitely, spiritual life involves emotions, and bhakti itself is a process where the love of God, love of Godhead itself is a emotion, but still it has to be based on scripture. As Rupa Goswami also is in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he mentions about Shruti Smriti Purana Divina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Vatpatayo Kalpate. Without Smriti Purana Panchratri Vidim Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Vatpatayo Kalpate. So all the Bhakti has to be founded on scriptures, scriptural knowledge. So Prabhupada very much desired and wanted, and all especially those who want to make serious progress in spiritual life, instituted the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. She wrote many letters also to his top leaders, GVCs, to make sure that all the devotees, especially the leaders, that they are also trying to read and understand and like founded in the scriptures, and also those who are following the leaders. So that's how these four books, Bhakti Shastri, he himself recommended these four books: Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. So out of the four, especially the Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad establishes the sadhya. Sadhya in spiritual life, when we come to spiritual life, in technical terms, we understand there is a sadhya, there is a sadhana, and there is a sadhaka. Sadhaka is a person who is trying to achieve a sadhya through a particular means. This is called sadhana. So sadhya, we know that you are all practicing from many years. We understand that sadhya is Krishna and Krishna Prem as the goal of life. So sadhya is established by especially Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad. Krishna is the sadhya, is the topmost goal. So that is established by the Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad mainly, because Ishopanishad is a part of Vedas. Prabhupada very much wanted that book Ishopanishad because it establishes on various levels the Supreme Lord, his personality also, personal aspects of the Supreme Lord. So that is Ishopanishad, and Bhagavad Gita also, in terms of it discusses many kinds of varieties of yogas, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. All these four he discusses, Krishna discusses in Bhagavad Gita, and mostly establishes the Bhakti is the ultimate process. But conclusively, it establishes more Sadhya, Krishna is the ultimate goal. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja. So that's how Bhagavad Gita and Isha is mostly focusing on Sadhya, establishing Krishna as a Supreme Lord. And of course, definitely it's not a watertight analysis, but majorly these two establishes Sadhya. And also there is mention of sadhana also in especially Bhagavad Gita. What is the sadhana is the bhakti is the topmost sadhana through all the chapters that you have gone through. But when we talk about sadhana, we need to discuss about the details of sadhana. So that is not much given in details in Bhagavad Gita. As a process, Krishna establishes is the topmost process by the acharyas also. But the details, how to practice it, day-to-day life, what are the things are involved, that is mostly established in NOI and NOD by our acharyas, especially Rupa Goswami. So that's how the sadhana aspect, when we speak about sadhana, these two books are very much crucial on day-to-day basis, what we need to do in our spiritual life, how to practice it on day-to-day life. So that's how these two, sadhya and sadhana, majorly in a broad way, we can categorize it. Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad are establishing Sadhya, Krishna as the Sadhya, ultimate Sadhya, and the sadhana, details of sadhana will be given in NOD and NOI. So NOI is down to earth. At the same time, it goes from basics to the topmost level. That's the beauty of Rupa Goswami, the true eloquence of Acharya. True eloquence is very much defined in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is essential truths spoken concisely. That's the true eloquence. The essential truth has to be spoken, but it has to be concise at the same time. So that's the beauty of Acharyas. He could give from down to earth basics to the topmost levels, from where to start and where to end. So that's the beauty of NOI, nectar of instruction. And in general, scriptures are like, compared to, here I mentioned as a TMW. I heard from great Chaitanya Prabhu that scriptures are like torchlights, and also they are like mirrors, and they are also like windows. How torchlights? They are like torchlights because the material world is like a dark place. Antakupa. It's a dark well or dark place, deep dark forest. So when you want to walk in the dark night, we need torchlight. When we have torch, then we can walk safely even in the dead of the night, even in the jungle, dark jungle in the dead of the night. So torches are very much helpful and needed if you want to if you want to par the forest. So they are compared to scriptures give understanding of where you will be caught up, where is the route, how to go. It will show the actual route, what are the stumbling blocks, where are some ditches, where are some thorns, or where are some. So these are all can be seen by torchlight. I mean, if you have light, then you can go on the path very easily. And also in general, in forest, if you have a fire, then no other animal attacks you in general. That's why they keep fire in forest when they are staying in forest. People go for stay in a farm projects or like that. Usually they do a forest, but they have to have fire in the forest in the night also. Otherwise, animals will attack. This one as Indradumna Maharaj has some various experiences in this regard. But anyway, I'm discussing about how Metal World is a dark place, and it's also like forest, dark forest. Middle of night, we need to refer to scriptures to walk and cross the material world. They are like torches for us, and also they are like mirrors in terms of seeing ourselves. Mirror is like a object, an item that reflects our image. So they show us who we are time to time. So various sections show us, okay, what is the ideal way of looking and what is our current position. Both it can reflect. It reflects, the mirror reflects. So scriptures also gives an idea what is our ideal look should be as a devotee, as a sadhaka, at various levels. So it gives an understanding. So when we open the scriptures, we understand who we are, where we are, how to go ahead. So these are all self-reflective uh, messages, scriptures. And it's also like windows to spiritual world. TMW, windows to spiritual world. They talk about spiritual world also. Many sections of scriptures, Bhagavad Gita. Also, Krishna explains, Natad bhashate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yat gartavane na vartante tad bhavam paramamama. So he's describing about spiritual world in 15th chapter, how it will be in spiritual world. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also there are many sections dedicated to explain about nature of Vaikuntha, spiritual world, how Brahmaji was revealed, the Vaikunthas, etc. So that's how they are like also to windows to spiritual world. Even whole 10th canto is like a window to actual Golok. And Prabhupada mentions that the pictures that the devotees drew for his books are like windows to spiritual world. So just by seeing a picture, actually ISKCON pictures are unique in the spiritual life, in spiritual institutions. Many uses our pictures. They are quite unique and profound in their depiction of spiritual world and various themes of scriptures. So they are like windows to the spiritual world, scriptures. So that's how we need. They also help us to see ourselves, who we are, like mirrors. They help us to walk in this forest, dark forest, jungle, and it will also give us a glimpse of spiritual world, so that we can aspire, keep aspiring, and be determined to go ahead in spiritual life. So that is about scriptures and our Bhakti Shastri books. Definitely, you might have experienced the beauty of scriptures in Bhagavad Gita and Ishopanishad, the profound literatures. Especially Prabhupada focused on Bhagavad Gita a lot initially to preach to people in general. Bhagavad Gita is like a ABCD of spiritual life, Prabhupada used to say. So then to go ahead in spiritual life, we need more and more deeper understandings and as well as applications. So for that, Prabhupada very much wanted devotees to read, understand the nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion. When he came to Vrindavan in 1972, first time he brought all the devotees. He gave a series of lectures on nectar of devotion, how they should understand. There are beautiful lectures, around 10-15 lectures are there by Prabhupada on nectar of devotion. Very much going in deep understanding of who is a Vaishnava, what is Bhakti, how to practice it. These are all very much mentioned in nectar of devotion and as well as instruction also. So how the book came about? The book, the author itself, Prabhu Goswami, you know. So there are 2-3 versions. What I came to know, heard from the teachers also, especially from his guys, Gaurang Darshan Prabhu and the other teachers. That one time Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took all devotees. It was evening time, almost twilight, becoming dark. Took all the devotees to the ocean, and he was spending the night at on the beach of the ocean. And by seeing the blue ocean and by seeing the night, he went into deep trance. He was remembering Yamuna. He was remembering the forest of Vrindavan. He was completely immersed in the remembrance of Krishna and the gopis, etc. So devotees, by doing Sankirtan, as usual way, they brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into external consciousness after doing long Kirtan. Then after coming into external consciousness, then Lord Chaitanya started to giving kind of instructions or kind of siksha to those who are present. So that was understood that Prabhu Goswami presented here for us as nectar of instructions. That is one understanding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself spoke these verses, maybe some of the verses, or he could have took the essence and kept it here. But this is also understood that he himself spoke and Prabhu Goswami presented here in Nectar of Instruction. And also Prabhu Goswami was referring many scriptures to formulate this book. And he also took some from the principles of some austerities and how one should be regulating senses from the various literatures, and composed some verses to assist our bhakti process. So in fact, we know that bhakti elements of the 64 elements, we don't have any, there is no kind of focus on doing tapasya. We don't, there is no kind of 64 limb that we need to do tapasya. to practice bhakti. No. There are mainly 9 process of devotional service, and there is no question of any kind of a sense control in the 9 kinds of devotional service mentioned. That we will discuss later a little bit more as we go ahead. But basically, tapasya is not much, is the direct limb of bhakti, but because it assists bhakti to go ahead in practicing bhakti, it is very much essential. Prabhupada stressed this, and it's very much part of sadhana bhakti, trying to control the senses and mind, which is a very focus of very central theme of nectar of instruction. So yeah, so he took from literatures and composed many verses and brought out this book as a nectar of instruction, Upadeshamrita. So it's understood that how the book came about, all the 11 verses. In general, it's just to understand how realize the scriptures. It's a Mahabharata verse. It's a general statement. There are so many exceptions will be there definitely for any rule, but it's a general understanding how we need to approach any scripture or in general studies also. This verse goes like this: Acharyat padamadatte padam shishya swamedhaya sa brahmacharibhyah padam kalakramena cha. So how to gain and realize knowledge? Acharyat padamadatte. So adatte we gain. So padam means there are 4 padam. Means here is a quarter. 1 quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. Like a 4 pillars. So each 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. It's a complete 1. It becomes. So 1/4 we learn from Acharya Padamadatte. From Acharya we learn, we hear from Acharya. Padam Shiksha Swamedhaya. So then once we hear it, then we start contemplating on the subject matter by one's intelligence, trying to understand what is being spoken, or what it means, how it applies. Pada Shiksha Swamedhaya. Sa Brahmacharibhya, the fellow students, Padam. Sa Brahmacharibhya Padam. The third, fourth is understood by discussing with others. It's always recommended that we keep on discussing with other devotees also. In fact, bhakti process itself to relish in the association of devotees. Not only just sharing, but definitely we can relish bhakti when we come together. Even Krishna mentions in 10th chapter, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So we keep on sharing with each other the themes or lessons or the realizations that we went through. That makes then we realize the third part that also gives more realization, and fourth completes by Padam Kalakramena. In due course of time, we will realize many things. Time is the teacher. So time means experience here. Experience, we learn a lot by experience. In fact, most of the things are learned by experience. Those scriptures are saying sense gratification is misery and the material body is miserable. It doesn't strike to our consciousness, but when we go through some phases of life, that time we may realize little bit for time being at least. But but by experience we learn a lot. So that's how the realization completes. We learn various ways. We learn, come to understand and realize in these 4 broad levels. Definitely there will be exceptions. It's not the strict rule that only one will realize by these only. No, but these are general principles. Definitely we need to hear from a teacher, acharya, and then follow, contemplate on subject matter, try to apply, and then try to discuss, and then realize the subject matter. So that's the way of understanding scriptures. So we discussed about the book, Bhakti Shastri books, and then we discussed how the book is formed and how to understand and how the scriptures are in general. TMW, torchlights, and mirrors and windows. So nectar of instruction, the preface we will see. So preface Prabhupada starts with, can someone read the first para? How you previously used to do any reading
The
used to
Krishna
happen?
consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the six Goswamis or Vrindavana are direct disciples. Therefore, Sri Narottam Das Thakura has sung Rupa Raghunatha Pade He Ibhe Akuti Kabhe Hama Bujha Habase Yugala Priti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna.
Yeah. So Sagar bro, you can maybe you can post the different devotees numbers. They can read one by one, according to whatever series of alphabets or whatever you feel.
Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, Prabhupada starts the preface with that how Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. This profound statement indicates that how he is not saying himself, I am the director of Krishna conscious movement. Maybe you can mute. I think somebody. So it's Prabhupada is not mentioning it's Krishna conscious movement, Hare Krishna movement, or the ISKCON is going under my direction, under my supervision. No, he is giving all credit to Rupa Goswami, that he is the topmost acharya. In fact, the verse that we recite every day, we recite in our prayers, Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale. So he understood the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he established the bhakti process. Also, Prabhupada is very much giving all credit to Rupa Goswami. This Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Sri Rupa Goswami. So that's why he's setting. He will be setting the goal, and also how to achieve the means, how to achieve that goal by proper means. So by following the footsteps of the acharyas, that's the main point of this theme here, preface. Though we are trying to achieve the highest goal, but we need to follow in the footsteps of the acharyas. So Gaudiya Vaishnava is mentioning about how we can understand the highest is Yugala Piriti in Krishna consciousness, especially in ISKCON. The topmost goal, Krishna Prem, the loving transcendental service to the Lord, Yugala Priti, is understood only by the following in the footsteps of Rupa and Raghunath. Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoi Be Akuti, Kabe Hama Bujabo Se Yugala Piriti. Narottam Das Thakur sings in one of the famous song. Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoi Raghumorash. Pradhana Kore Sata Narottama Das, the last stanza of this verse. So I want to follow in the footsteps of Rupa and Raghunath. Koi be akoti. When I will understand, when I am eager to understand the literature given by Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand transcendent loving affairs. So as I mentioned, it should be based on scriptures. The Shastra has to be the foundation to understand spiritual subject matters, especially the loving dealings between Radha and Krishna, the topmost subject matter, which is mostly misunderstood by everyone. So the Hoi Bakoti is saying that when I will try to understand the literatures given by Rupa and Raghunath, only by through them we can understand the topmost subject matter. I just to glorify Rupa Goswami, 2-3 verses. Let's see that. So yeah, as we recite every day, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He established in this material world the mission that which fulfills the desire of Lord Chaitanya. I desire his lotus feet. In the same way as Rupa Goswami understood the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. When Prabhupada wrote this famous Vyasa Puja, absolute distinction, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou hast removed, thou hast moved. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur was so pleased that he used to, wherever he went that time, for a quite long time, he used to keep on repeat this Abhay Babu, Abhay Charanaravinda, Bhaktivedanta. That time, Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu understood the mission, my heart. So he used to repeat these sentences. So one of his god brothers commented that just like this verse, one of the Abhay's god brothers compared this verse by Abhay to a verse in which Rupa Goswami had expressed the inner thinking of Sri Mahaprabhu and has thus moved him to ecstasy. So just like Rupa Goswami understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada also understood the heart of Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, who is giving the essence to all of us. So that's the one of the point. Rupa Goswami understood the heart, as Srila Prabhupada also presenting the heart of Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur to all of us. So here one more verse, glory of Rupa Goswami is mentioned. Vrindavaniyam rasakeli vartam kale naluptam nija shakti mukta sancharya rupe vetanot punasa prabhur vidhau prak ivaloka shrutim. Please read translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Before the creation of this cosmic manifestation, the Lord enlightened the heart of Lord Brahma with the details of the creation and manifested the Vedic knowledge. In exactly the same way, the Lord, being anxious to revive the Vrindavan pastime of Lord Krishna, impregnated the heart of Rupa Goswami with spiritual potency. By this potency, Srila Rupa Goswami could revive the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan, activities almost lost to memory. In this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Chaitanya Charitamrita 19.1.
Yeah, just like here also a beautiful analogy is given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Just like Lord Brahma was enlightened. Tene Brahma Hudaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya. Just like Lord Brahma was enlightened within the heart, Srila Rupa Goswami is also enlightened from within by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's one more verse and we'll recite and then we'll continue ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Priyaswarupe Dayitaswarupe Premaswarupe Sahajabirupe Nijanurupe Prabhurekarupe Tatanurupe Swalvilasarupe. Please read.
Yes, indeed, Srila Rupa Goswami, whose dear friend was Swarupa Damodar, was the exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was very, very dear to the Lord, being the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love. Rupa Goswami was naturally very beautiful. He very carefully followed the principles
Enunciated.
enunciated by the Lord, and he was a competent person to explain properly the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Srila Rupa Goswami just So he could render service by writing transcendental literature.
Yeah. So who dear friend, exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very, very dear to the Lord. Embodiment of ecstatic love. That's why he's a Rasacharya. Embodiment of ecstatic emotions. His beauty is he described. He was also competent person to explain properly the pastimes of Lord Krishna. His literature and his writings were very much appreciated and extolled by even great scholars. So that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered all the six Goswamis, especially Rupa Goswami, to write all the essence of bhakti in terms of Vedic understanding. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expanded his mercy to Rupa Goswami just so he could render service by writing transcendental literatures. So that is the glory of our Acharya and the author. Without glorifying the author, understanding and trying to pray for his mercy, we can't understand any subject matter. Even our Srila Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar, which is the very place where Srila Rupa Goswami, and in fact, six Goswami stayed and did their bhajan and wrote many transcendental literatures. That's the glory of Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada also. We continue. So now Prabhupada mainly focuses on the goal of the book and also of our life, book of life, our book of life. Please read.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benedictions of the signs of Krishna. The most exalted of the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of six Goswamis: Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta, and Das Raghunath.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Prabhupada is bringing out the main topic now. And the preface that the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Definitely the whole religious systems or religions that we have in our in the world, they have their own contributions. But the Vedic understanding of God, how he is a person based on logic and reason, is more profound than any of the presentations of about the knowledge of God and his, the destination. There is profound knowledge. Prabhupada used to give example of dictionaries. There are small dictionaries and there are Oxford dictionaries. So there is Oxford dictionary gives a lot of more examples, more words, more information than though they are all are bona fide dictionaries, small and big. So he compared the Vedas as like Oxford dictionary, where we have a lot of so much of information, especially about spiritual world and about God. On top of that, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contribution is very much exalted in the sense that to establish the prema, which is the considered the Pancham Purushartha, he appeared himself. Krishna appeared himself to propagate his mission to give everyone love of God. Till of course, definitely all the acharyas, Sri Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya, Mbarakacharya, all these acharyas very much established the personality of Godhead and the servitorship of all the living entities. But the unique contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his philosophy and by his Sankirtan is unique. So about him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 2-3 verses, we'll just see how his contribution was so wonderful. Srila Krishna's Gaviraj Goswami glorifies his appearance. So there is a beautiful verse comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first chapter. अनर्पितचर्यं चिरात् करुणया अवतीर्णकलौ समर्पयितुं वन्नतोज्ज्वलरसां सुभक्तिं श्रियं हरिपुरटसुन्दरद्युतिकदम्ब सन्दीपिका सदा हृदयकन्दरे स्फुरतो वासचिनन्दनः. Please read.
May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Suchi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of the molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love.
So, Unnatojjvala Rasam. That's what mentioned by Chaitanya Kaviraj Goswami. Definitely, everybody has a respect to God in the various religions. They obey God, they fear God. Even to some extent, they may try to approach God in different various ways. Even our Vedic understanding, understanding of Dasya, to serve the Lord in a proper way, in a respectful way, is also mentioned. But the topmost expressions of friendship with the Lord and being a parent to the Lord, Vatsalya, and even topmost of Madhurya, is very much unique contribution. Definitely, it is there in the literature, but it was not much understood or propagated or given bestowed. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially came to bestow that kind of mercy on all the living entities. Though we are not much qualified to that kind of a mercy, still he wanted to give that kind of a special benediction to all. The prema Panchatattva mili jagat yasiya purva prema bhandarera mudravogadaya. It said the Panchatattva came. Panchatattva mili jagate asiya. They came to this world. For what? Purva prema bhandar. जो भंडार है प्रेम का पूर्व प्रेम भंडार है मुद्रा उगड़िया. It was locked and sealed, but they broke open the treasure house. Mudra Ugadiya. Mudra means is locked storehouse is sealed, but they broke open the storehouse of love of God. And they distributed the contents in the form of Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that Sankirtan is itself is the storehouse of love, storehouse of transcendental nectar. So that's they distributed throughout the world without any discrimination. That's what this was also mentions. Chiradadattam Nijagupta Vittam Supremanamamrutatudaraha Apamaram Yogitar Gaura Krishno Janabhyastamaham Prapatye. Please read.
The most magnificent Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Gaura Krishna, distributed to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name. This was never given to the people at any time before. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
His own confidential treasury in the form of nectar of love for himself, love of himself and the holy name. So these are the precious jewels that we come to understand when we come to Bhakti, especially as given by our acharyas. It's not at all mentioned or explained in any of the religious sects in the other religions. Loving God and trying to pure devotional service itself is very striking to even Hindus, even the so-called religious system that we born and brought up with. Very much striking to understand loving God without any expectations. not asking anything by going to temple. It's a quite surprising thing when we say people, we don't ask anything when you go to temple. So that's the beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presentation. Just by chanting the holy names, we can revive that the treasure house. It's selfless, transcendental, loving devotional service. That is the topmost thing, and that can be experienced. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. It's not just to be understood or to share, but to experience. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came to release himself and to share with others, share with all of us. Rasika Shekara Krishna Paramakaruna Yei Dui Hetu Hoite Ichara Udgama. So please read translation.
The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. The Lord wanted to take the sweet essence of the mellows of the love of God, and he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant and as the most merciful of all.
Yeah, he's both. He's a Rasika Shekara Krishna. He's a Rasika Shekara. He wanted to enjoy the mellows, Krishna. Paramakaruna. But it's at the same time, he is very kind to everyone. He is giving everyone entry into that supreme mellows of experience of transcendental love. So that is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came to taste, at the same time he wanted to distribute such a highest nectar of understanding of spiritual life, God, the goal of life, and our position. So this is the contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he wanted to share with all of us, and he did it through all his disciples. Though he didn't wrote any literature himself, except for Sikshastakam, in the sense that writing in the sense that he spoke the 8 verses that was recorded by Shri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami in his book as a Sikshastakam. But these verses are spoken at different days when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy in the last years of his manifested pastimes in this material world. He used to speak these verses of sometimes one verse one day, other time other verse, but Krishna Kaviraj Goswami compiled as a Sikshastakam in the last chapter of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's so these are the direct verses by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sikshastakam. Apart from that, he wrote a book definitely before in his school days, in his teaching days. He wrote on Nyaya, one of the famous book. But I don't know whether you heard the story. His friend expressed his opinion or whatever, that not his opinion, he also wrote a book. His friend also wrote a book on Nyaya. Then he expressed that, my dear Lord, you wrote such a book, then who will read my book? The scholar, the topmost scholar of the world, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wrote a book on Nyaya, and how anyone can read my book? Immediately after hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both were traveling in a boat in Ganga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately threw his book into Ganga, just because to please his friend, so that his book is written, his book is read by others. So that was the book written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and which was put into Ganga by himself. Apart from that, he didn't write any book in per se, but he wrote all these things. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of 6 Goswamis, because he manifested all his teachings through them, through the 6 Goswamis. So that's why we need to understand the topmost subject matter, what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us through the Parampara system. So how to understand and realize the topmost subject matter which is given to all of us. We now how it should be approached, where to start with. And when we want to reach the sadhya, as we are discussing, let us suppose if you want to reach a destination which we are not much aware of, generally Google Map will open and put destination. First thing we
Voice is not clear, Prabhu. Voice is not clear. It's breaking.
Yes, Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
Yes,
one
Prabhu.
minute.
Clear voice.
From when? Now only or before also?
It's still it's doing it. Whatever you're saying, it's like breaking voice.
Just now, Prabhuji. Just 30 seconds
Okay.
back.
Okay. 1 minute maybe. Signal maybe a bit low here. You will just
Uh,
wait
Pra-
for 1 or
Prabhuji, you may switch off your video and try it. If by chance, if the bandwidth works, then
I'll just check. I have one more alternate I kept ready. Maybe that also I keep it ready so that
Now
whatever
yeah.
it
works.
is fine, Prabhuji. Now it
Now
is
it
fine.
is clear.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it may happen. Otherwise, our net is good. PVRV.
Prabhuji, you do one thing, you switch off your video and start so that the internet consumption is stable.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
now,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, anytime you feel is not understood or anything technical issues, also you can just try to mention to me, and we'll try to. Okay, we are discussing that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us the topmost spiritual goal and experience, not just goal, experience also. But that has to be understood and realized in a systematic and proper way. So that now Prabhupada is going. Yeah, I'm discussing about how the goal is we put the destination in the Google map. First, we need to put destination, and then automatically, if it is if the mobile takes the current location, it immediately takes up the current location and gives the best routes to achieve the destination. Right, shortest and best and easiest possible way. So either it takes current location or we put current location where we are. So similarly, spiritual life also, we put the destination and we understand where we are, and then the easiest and the safest and fastest and the path we need to tread along to reach the destination. So that path is chalked down by the acharyas, and they tirelessly worked to give us this shortest, sweetest, fastest, and safest. Always in the you might have read in Bhagavad Gita also that how this path is so wonderful out of all other paths that are compared in Bhagavad Gita. So that path also definitely it's Nam Namakari Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Arpita Animata Smaranena Kala. There are no hard and fast rules. Of course, the chanting of the holy names is mentioned, but in general also the bhakti rules and regulations are quite soft and slow, as mentioned by His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. The verse is saying that there are no hard and fast rules for chanting. So one devotee asked, what is meant by hard and fast? Then his unique way of presenting answer, succinct and true eloquence, that there are these rules are just soft and slow rules, bhakti rules. And bhakti rules are not so like hard like others. Yogis and jnanis and all these other people trying to do so many things to realize the absolute truth. But here in the path of bhakti, as presented by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, it's so wonderful, so jolly, so happiest, so sweet process. Prabhupada lectures you might be hearing also. Always mentions it's very easy to chant, dance, and feast. Definitely, it's very easy. We will discuss at the end of this preface what is the easiest, how it is difficult, the process. Prabhupada mentions that point in the end of this preface. We'll come to that one, but the shortcut, but as mentioning that the path is chalked down by the acharyas, how we need to go ahead on this path to achieve the highest goal as set out by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not set out, but is revealed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is also the glory of the book, is mentioned by Prabhupada. Please read.
Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Updeshamrit, the nectar of instruction to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shikshashtaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upadeshamrita so that we may become pure Vaishnavas.
Yeah, this is the glory of the book. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a kind of essence he gave in the Shikshashtaka from. That is also, the beauty is that Chaitanya Shikshashtaka also starts with basic Cheto Darpanamarjanam, ends with the topmost devotee, the topmost love, feelings of separation. Aslichava Padaratam, the topmost of love is that either my beloved makes me pleasing to me, or makes me broken hearted. Whatever he does, I am always his eternal servant. So that is the mood of loving separation, topmost mood of bhakti. Whatever the Krishna's decision in my life, but he will remain always my eternal Lord. Mat Prananath. Prananath is a beautiful word. Prananath is like a Pran ka Nath hai. He is the master of the Pran. We have in Ayurveda, they have the Panch Pran, 5 life airs in the body. I think in the where 10 life airs comes in, maybe in Bhagavad Gita somewhere, I think you might have read life airs. I think he quotes in somewhere comes 10 life airs. So these 5 life airs are very crucial. So the prans. So pranam ka nath hai. Krishna will remain my pranath, whatever he may does. So that is the topmost of bhakti. So that stage is quite far, definitely. I mean, we are not saying that we are on that level, but we are trying to aspire to come to that level. We are being given that kind of a understanding and also experience in due course that will be the highest experience of love and separation. Whatever comes in my life, Krishna will be my object of love and service. So that is the mood of pure devotion. That is the highest stage. But it starts with a very basic Chetodarpana Marjanam, by chanting the holy names, how we cleanse our heart and mind, how everything will become auspicious. So that's how it grows gradually, revealing the different stages of bhakti. Also, 9 stages of bhakti are revealed in the Shastri also. At the same time, Upadeshamrita also divided into 9 stages by the some of the acharyas, as I heard. It also giving starting stages from Shraddha to Prema.
Yeah, I didn't understand. 9 stage of bhakti, and what is also divided into 9?
You are asking about the Shikshashtakam?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about this only. You said just said that 9, like there are 9.
Yeah, 9 stages of devotional service you might heard from Shraddha to Prema.
Oh yes,
You heard?
yes, yeah.
That is I'm talking about 9 stages. 9 stages of devotional service: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prema. These are 9 stages of devotional service. This is the path chalked down by the Rupa Goswami himself. How we grow in bhakti. He didn't just give the process, but he also gave different stages. Just like when we are traveling from Pune to Delhi or Mayapur, why to take to Delhi? Let us take spiritual destination, Mayapur, Vrindavan. So there are different stations will come in between. The first time when we are traveling to Mayapur or Vrindavan, Then there are different stations when we see that, oh, we are become more confident. Okay, we are trying to reach the destination. We are more becomes the stage after stage. We become more and more confident. Yeah, we are going in right direction. We are going in right direction. And when we stick to the process and sit in the train with patience, then we will reach the destination. Maybe with time, after some time. Mayapur takes some time from Pune, 38 hours, 40 hours, if it is in our luck. Okay, so yeah, the stages of Bhakti also Rupa Goswami mentions from Shraddha to Prema, how one gradually grows and grows. So here also Updeshamrita also Prabhupada is comparing that just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave these 8 verses, Rupa Goswami is giving us Updeshamrita 11 verses here. Also, they are like essence of spiritual life to guide our activities. Is guiding our activities. He gave us because in Krishna conscious movement, we need also we need to follow a particular process. So, how to do, what to do, when to do. So these are all we need a guidance. So that for that he gave this guidance. We all get some guidance. Just like when you buy a mobile or laptop or anything, we have a guidelines book. So we understand how to operate it. In detail, it will be given how to charge it, what to do when it's a troubleshoot, when there is a trouble, when there is a any kind of a malfunctioning of a machine happens, then how to repair it, how to approach it. Then we have guidelines. So similarly, these are guidelines in our bhakti, what to do in our spiritual life when things go ups and downs. Life is always goes in ups and downs. Definitely, though we started practicing spiritual life, after some time, initially it will be definitely a rosy walk on a beach. It appears to be, but slowly we start realizing definitely there are also many things are coming in spiritual life when we are practicing. So we need a good guidance how to go ahead in spiritual life. It's not just a rosy walk. We need a lot of guidance, especially if you want and if you are determined, if you are focused on the goal to reach, we definitely need a guidance at every step in our spiritual life. So for that we definitely need scriptures, and also sadhu, guru sadhu shastra. Prabhupada always mentions we need all these 3 to go ahead in spiritual life. So that's the what Prabhupada mentioning. We always keep on referring the scriptures, especially NY is the beautiful book that we always keep always in touch with, because it's always giving a practical understanding of spiritual life, day-to-day life, how it should be conducted on day-to-day basis. Okay, please read. The essence Prabhupada is now bringing out. What is the essence of the book?
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
So,
please.
in all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva-guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed.
Yeah. So Prabhupada defining the what's first duty is to control his mind and senses, the spiritual affairs, especially when we start spiritual life. Everywhere it's in any spiritual organization, it's generally said you have to restrict yourself, control yourself. In fact, that's the main one of the main things that we follow in ISKCON, especially follow 4 regulative principles. First thing is to. So let us try to little brainstorm that why to control the senses. Why it is considered first duty? Anyone you want to share? Why to control the senses? Why it is the first duty? Anybody want to share?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
what I think is that I think because senses cannot be satisfied ever, so they are like kind of distracting senses for us. So they'll always keep demanding for more and varied things. Hence, we must need to control the senses if we want to make our human life successful.
Yeah. So you are saying that the senses have eternal needs in one sense. They are not. They are endless demands from the senses. So we need to control them. Yeah. Good point. Anyone else?
Yeah, as you said, Prabhuji, like, if you want to do bhakti and progress in bhakti, so we have to control our mind and senses. So that is the prime goal. If someone really want to practice Krishna consciousness, so he must control his senses.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Because senses are they are that's because they are near to the mind, and mind is center of all the senses. That's the reason it's easy for us to control the mind also.
Okay. Good point. That you are saying that just like the fingers are centered around the palm, so the mind is centered along. I mean, surrounding the senses. All the sensory inputs are acted in uh, the software is the mind. So though definitely we control the mind, and both senses and the mind has to be controlled to practice bhakti. Good point. Anyone else?
Yeah, Prabhuji, the mind is like a monkey. It
Okay.
jumps from here and there, and senses are like wild horses. So you have to use your intelligence and control both the things for a spiritual progress.
Good analogies. That senses are like horses, and the mind is like a monkey. Monkey jumps here and there always. We need to bridle the horses. Of course, the analogy of the horses are controlled. Senses are controlled by the ropes of the mind. Analogy, chariot analogy. Mind is like ropes, and intelligence has to keep the ropes intact, so that the ropes will in turn keep the horses on the road, on the track. Yeah, mind also is compared to monkey, like a child, in different ways. Child is it's always restless child. The monkey is like a more restless than a child. Jumps ups and down. It appears to be very calm and quiet sometimes, but it's always jumps. These are all about beautiful analogies to understand, to control the mind, to understand its restless nature, so that we keep control restriction, so that we focus on not on the sensual demands, but on spiritual life. Okay, anyone else? Anyone wants to share?
So
Why it's
basically,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, one more analogy has been given in Bhagavad Gita that senses are compared to venomous serpents.
Yeah,
So
correct.
if they are not controlled, they will act loosely and without restriction.
Yeah, good point. I think in the section of second chapter, the Stitha Prajna section, Prabhupada states in the purport that senses are acts always want to act loosely. The senses. Yeah, we need to break the teeth of sense enjoyment. There, Prabhupada writes, the teeth are like compared to sense enjoyment. But when we break the teeth of sense enjoyment, then they are harmless. Those senses will remain. Similarly, here also the senses need to be controlled, so that yeah, good point. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, as we know that all the senses, they have their sense objects where they have attraction towards that. So again, till the time the senses will get attracted to the sense objects, so there is very less chance that because all these sense objects will drag the mind and the senses towards the mode of passion and ignorance.
Correct.
And I think if you have to grow in our bhakti, we need to come to Satyaguna. That is what is mentioned in the paragraph here. So if you have to come to the mode of Satyaguna, will unless we control our mind and senses and from those sense objects,
Yeah.
we'll not be able to elevate ourselves from ignorance and passion and compassion.
Yeah, good point. Good point. You are bringing out that. So everything in the world is made of Trigunamayi. I think Krishna says, Ebhi Sarvamitam Jagat. I think Krishna mentions in the 9th chapter that Tribir Gunamair Bhavair Ebhi Sarvamitam Jagat. So everything is made of three modes, or influenced by three modes. Everything in this material world. So we need to strive. The senses are always trying to drag us to mode of ignorance and passion. So we control them so that we stay on goodness. Definitely goodness also comes in due course of time. In the sense, when morning comes, there is a mode of goodness. Right. In due course of time, the goodness phase also will come, but it doesn't last long. But to keep ourselves on mode of goodness and to go beyond, so we need to regulate ourselves. Thereby, we practice spiritual life and we come out of the three modes of nature. Good point. As mentioned by Prabhupada himself, one must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerned will be revealed. Okay. Also, one point is the consciousness is very much riveted to the sense enjoyment. Anytime we fulfill the demands of the senses, so the consciousness is very much riveted, where consciousness is involved at the material level. When we're trying to not fulfill, when we're trying to extra go in terms of sense gratification mode, not just fulfilling. So the consciousness comes down to the bodily platform. This is one crucial point to understand. Even normally also, not doing extra sense fulfillment, even a basics when we are doing for the senses, like taking prasad, or responding to nature, or other things which are naturally we are doing with the body, we come to the bodily platform. The consciousness is always stuck to the bodily platform. So what to speak of when we are trying to indulge in more and more sense gratification? The consciousness is very much brought down and riveted to the material platform. So that's why when you are you can experience the elevation of the consciousness when we are fasting days, or when we are in the, at least in the mode of goodness platform in the morning, early in the morning, we took bath and we are trying to do after doing arati in homes or attending arati in temple, we feel elevated. We feel very much elevated in our consciousness, because that time we are not engaged in the bodily activities. So the consciousness is more elevated than when we are engaged with senses. So that's why it's very much essential that we keep the consciousness not at the bodily level, by always trying to fulfill the demands of the senses. So the more we keep on trying to fulfill the demands of the senses, the more consciousness will be riveted to the material. Riveted means, you understand, rivets. When you want to fix two sheets, aluminum sheet or whatever, they put rivets to make it strong, or screws. Then like rivets are more in mechanical way. They are very strong in making the joint. My old tendencies are coming out of my subject matter. So two sheets are riveted together, means they are firmly bonded. I mean, we cannot separate. The joint is very strong, rivet joint. So similarly, the consciousness becomes riveted to bodily level or material level when we are trying to fulfill the demands of the senses. That's why also we can see that in Rupa Goswami's 64 principles, that after eating prasad, it's generally not recommended to go to see the deity. We cannot go to temple. That was one of the recommendation, that after eating prasad, we cannot go to the temple hall, because Because of eating, we become heavy. We are becoming bodily conscious more. That's why many people, those who are extra eating, they automatically induces heavy ignorance and sleep also. I mean, on a lighter level, one can take rest definitely if he's very much tired in the night, just like Prabhupada used to tire overnight, 2-3 hours rest. He used to take a light nap in the afternoon after breakfast. Definitely that's okay. But generally, after eating, one becomes more and more bodily conscious because that's the way of working of the body, conscious. But Prabhupada is not at all sleeping on ignorance level that we can see through many pastimes also. Even His Holiness Sachidananda Swami Maharaj writes in his book how one day he wanted to test Prabhupada because there was initial days he wanted to just see how pure devotee or how a spiritual master takes rest in the night. So he wanted to see what happens in the night. So he climbed up in the window and saw through window how Prabhupada is taking rest. So through he could he was amazed to see that Prabhupada was chanting in his sleep. Slightly he could hear chanting Prabhupada. So definitely Prabhupada sleeping is not like our sleeping, at least not my sleeping. So great devotees always there in touch with the Lord. But in general, on a body level, we are, especially when we take food and prasad, the body really comes down to the mode of passion and ignorance level. It doesn't stay much on mode of goodness. So that's why it's also recommended not to visit the deity because the more we become bodily conscious, the more we cannot be Krishna conscious when we go before the deity. This is also we can experience also. It's not a rocket science. If you go early in the morning to temple to see the deity, it's entirely different than after taking your full lunch and coming to temple and taking darshan. It's not the same. So that's the main point that one must control the senses because they drag us the consciousness to the body level. They rivet the consciousness to the body level and material level. That's why we always try to regulate the senses to as much as possible. At the same time, it's not that we follow Nima, Agraha also Nima, Agraha, we will see all those things, how much control the senses, to what extent we can control the senses. These are all specific case to everyone. But the main point remains that our consciousness has to be, we have to keep on mode of goodness at least, making ourselves Krishna conscious more and more than the bodily conscious. That's why mode of goodness is Prabhupada is recommending here. And it's a fact that we need to raise the mode of goodness level so that we practice spiritual life very diligently and progress more and more on spiritual level. So that's the first duty of the controlling the senses, so that our consciousness remains not on body level, at least elevating our level of consciousness above the body and more towards that I am a spirit soul, that I am part and parcel of Krishna, that I am Krishna conscious, coming towards that level. Yes. And Prabhupada gives a beautiful definition of what is the goal of controlled senses. The goal, definitely, as we discussed also now, that the controlled senses are mainly to make progress in spiritual life. And what does that mean, growing in spiritual life and controlled senses? Please read this statement.
The Lord's order descends in disciplic succession through the bona fide spiritual master, and thus execution of the orders of the bona fide spiritual master is factual control of senses.
See here. So the Lord's order or the goal is coming through disciplic succession through bona fide spiritual master, through parampara, and thus execution of the order, or if you want to trying to reach the goal, highest goal through the execution of the order. So execution of the order of a bona fide spiritual master is the factual control of the senses. Prabhupada quotes in second canto. states. And so this is the goal of control of senses. Mean why we are controlling senses? Definitely to make spiritual progress and to keep the consciousness on Krishna, and specifically to keep our consciousness focused on executing the orders of spiritual master, understanding the orders of spiritual master, trying to execute them is the factual control of the senses. So by that execution of the orders of the spiritual master, we grow more and more in spiritual life, and we try to come as close to the goal as possible in this life and achieve also the goal. Yeah. So we are discussing how the essence of the book is the Prabhupada is mentioning in this para that the spiritual life one must control the senses and mind to bring at least to the platform of goodness, where further things will be revealed. So these are the main essential points Prabhupada bringing out from the preface. Yeah, please read.
Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower.
Hmm.
A follower of Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami.
Now Prabhupada is giving a more how to come to that level. What he mentioned here, the essence. Essence is come to the mode of goodness by practicing principles and to achieve the love of Godhead, achieve the Krishna Prem or the Vrindavan life, what he mentioned previously. The goal is mentioned previously. And through Parampara, we need to understand, we are trying to understand through books of Upadesamrita and Shastri. And for that, we are trying to execute on a practical day-to-day basis at this level of controlling mind and senses, coming to the mode of goodness. Now, how we can practice that? So, how we make advancement? Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of the follower. So, what is meant by attitude here? So, the attitude, as I heard from many teachers, that the attitude of gratitude, attitude of service. Also here, especially as Prabhupada mentioning that it is not a not only its highest path, and it's also needs some determination to control the mind and senses. So that is the theme is expressed in the upcoming para, that how one must be focused sincerely and seriously, try to control mind and senses, because something is very difficult. We need to apply some determination, because the whole theme Prabhupada is bringing up that controlling the mind and senses need a lot of determination to progress in spiritual life. So this attitude can be referred to the determination that we need to maintain so that we advance in our Krishna consciousness. Determined attitude, whatever may happen, whatever, though definitely senses and mind are not going to listen to me. Definitely you might have experienced in your life while practicing spiritual life. It's not always easy. As Prabhupada will see last para, that how it is not easy. At the same time, it needs a lot of determination. Satata, what is that verse?
Bhajatam priti purvakam dadati buddhi yogam tam.
Tesham Saptagittam.
Dhradavrata, one verse. Dhradavrata verse. What is the Dhradavrata verse? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya Dhradavrata. Yes. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Krishna is saying, Satatam kirtayanto mam. Okay, my devotees, Satatam, they keep on glorify me. Satatam, they always glorify me. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Then why Dhradavrata? If you are pure devotees, they can chant even in the sleep. Then why need determination? Determination is needed when you have some difficulty or some trouble, you are unable to do something, you are trying to be determined yourself, right? But here mentioned Satatik Tesha, what is the verse I said?
Satatam kirtayanto mam.
Satatam kirtayanto mam, sorry. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya Dhradavrata. Though they are Definitely they are glorifying all the time. Satam Kirtayantomam. But Yatantasya Drudavrata. Still, those devotees who are practicing, they need a lot of determination. Definitely pure devotees, they don't have any kind of trouble in spiritual life. Their practice is just like a cakewalk for them. Though it may appear for us to be, they are very much struggling and trying to practice spiritual life. For them, it's a cakewalk. For great devotees and pure devotees. But for us, we need to apply determination, a lot of determination. We need to apply a lot of determination. So by that serious and determined attitude, the advancement is determined. Even in the material circles also, outside circles also, it is mentioned about. It's the attitude that determines the altitude, not the aptitude. Aptitude is more of your competence part, how much you are competent in your field. It's not about just about their competence or aptitude, but it's the attitude in spiritual life also that determines the altitude, the heights, the advancement, the progress that we are trying to make. So the attitude of service, attitude of gratitude, attitude of determination to go ahead. Even third verse we come across, we'll come to Utsahat, Nisyat, Dhairyat. We understand more and more in that aspects. So this is one of the famous lines of Prabhupada. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So it means that it depends on us, depends on the follower. Just like the sun shines, the sun is shining on everyone, on every object also. But the objects that has most receptivity, that can absorb more sunshine, those objects which are not very absorbing the sunshine, they don't achieve much. They don't have kind of nourishment from the sun. So similarly, many examples like rain also. Rain may fall on hill, rain may fall on field also. So the fields, the grounds which are very fertile, they absorb more, not the rocks. So similarly, advancement depends on the attitude of the followers. It depends on us more and more. So a follower of Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Prabhupada is giving a kind of a statement which is imperative that you should become a perfect Goswami. There is no question of any taking back. And if you see here, what I didn't get is, what is BRB 5 minutes? Hare Krishna.
Pardon, Prabhuji?
Ravichandran Prabhu sent SMS. BRB?
What miss?
Maybe he's taking a break for 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, you can go ahead, Prabhuji. Yeah.
No, I didn't understand the abbreviation. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so our session will go till 4:30, no, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah.
Anybody who needs a break or wants to convey something, you can message me. Don't disturb Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, you can directly talk to Sagar Prabhu. Yeah, you can take break also. 2 hours may be long. Maybe if you want to take a break for 5 minutes, you can decide from next session. We can, if you feel that it's too long and too
No,
boring.
Prabhuji, I think that's okay, because actually, if somebody wants to take a bio break, something like that, they can always switch off the camera for a couple of minutes and they can get it done. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't need to stop the class.
Okay, sure. Okay, so yeah, it's not Bhakti Shastri is not more of a pastimes, and katha and flowing of definitely a different speaker can make it more relish and sweet. But I'm just a neophyte this teaching. But let us trying to understand. But anytime you have any difficulty, you let me know. Accordingly, we'll try to adjust. So a follower of Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. So here Prabhupada is not saying that a brahmachari or sannyasi should become a Goswami, or a grihastha or vanaprastha should become a Goswami. What he's saying? A follower is saying, a follower of Krishna conscious movement. That means everyone. Whoever is trying to follow the principles, chanting 16 rounds and following 48 principles, in due course of time should become a perfect Goswami. That is order, whether one is one who is in a male body or female body, a child's body or old body. Anyone can become a Goswami and should become a Goswami. They'll be following the process. That's the Prabhupada's his desire, and is also his imperative statement is kind of a demand and warning. Demand is more of a demand that I should become a perfect Goswami. That's how we can establish the movement more and more stronger. We can keep the examples in our movement so that the faith of the people who come in touch with, and they also can develop more and more faith. So unless we set an example up to the process that we are following, then people will not gain faith, nor they try to follow. That's why a follower of Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. That means when we're trying to follow, we have great responsibility to become at least trying to become a Goswami, working towards to become a Goswami, trying to start to apply the principles how to become a Goswami. So by that, not only we, but also those who see us and wants to come to near us and want to follow us can also develop faith and deepen their faith, and they also can very swiftly progress in spiritual life. That's the responsibility of all of us. That's the point Prabhupada is mentioning, that the attitude gives the advancement, and by that we should become a perfect Goswami in due course. So now Prabhupada defines what is a perfect Goswami. That is the goal of the book. Yeah, please read. Please read this one.
Yes, Prabhuji. What it means to be a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavana, title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrit, which have been given by Srila Rup Goswami. Srila Rup Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vigat Madhav and Lalit Madhav, but Updeshamrit constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada is ending here the preface, that by stating the goal of the book to become a perfect Goswami, how to become a perfect Goswami. He is mentioning initially the title Goswami is given to the Vrindavan Vasis, especially those who are pujaris and this family line, family lineage, so also known as Goswamis. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis, especially in Vrindavan. Prabhupada is mentioning here. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. So that means he is defining now the Goswami. Go means senses, the master. By controlling our mind and senses, Go means senses and the Swami means the master. We become the master of the senses. That means we are able to control the senses and mind and progress in spiritual life. And we are, by the process, the more we go in terms of advancement in spiritual life, the controlling senses and mind becomes an automatic process. Automatic in the sense we focus more on Krishna than on the rules and regulations. we will see the beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita, with which we will pause for today's session, where Krishna is mentioning that we focus on me and control the senses. So the focus should be on Krishna. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vajehi yashendriyani tasya prajnapatishta. So that's what, by that we become a pure devotee of Krishna, pure devotee of Krishna. In the both ways, first we focus on controlling the senses initially, and by that we are trying to focus consciousness on Krishna. The more we become Krishna conscious, the more it becomes easy to control the mind and senses. It's a cyclic process. So by that we achieve the success, highest success, by becoming a Goswami and then pure devotee of the Lord. For that, what we have to do? We have to follow the instructions of Upadeshamrita that was given by Rupa Goswami. And he's mentioning that Rupa Goswami gave so many books. What happened? I think it went in a saving mode. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes it will take. So, though Rupa Goswami wrote so many books, volumes of books, which are even not only volumes, they are the standard of the content of the books also very high, most esoteric. Books are also written by Rupa Goswami, being Rasacharya, but they are quite difficult to understand by a neophyte. So one need to, just like a student who is studying 10th class, he can't understand the botany or PhD botany or biology books or any medical books. It's beyond his capacity to grasp. Though he may know the language of English, he may read also. He can read the English. Knowing the language doesn't mean you can understand the book. So the student, though he may know English, he can't grasp what is written in the medical books, PhD books. Similarly, a neophyte, he may try to read the books, but he cannot grasp what is being written there. So we need to go through gradual levels, just like a student grows step by step. So the Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for the neophyte devotees. So it's always recommended. It's always recommended and always emphasize that we are riveted in the basics always, because our institute has seen many setbacks in terms of these principles, which are very basic. So that's why we need to be rooted in these principles to follow, to gain great depths and the heights in our spiritual life also. At the same time, set up proper examples to the society in general as well. So these first instructions for the neophytes and devotees, in the sense that we need to always keep in touch. So definitely, just like a building, so foundation is important, but the foundation is such that it is not seen every day. In fact, it is not seen after the first floor comes up. The moment its foundation is laid and it's covered, you can't see the foundation. That's it. Though the building is for 25 floors, it may be staying for hundreds of years later on. The foundation is not seen. So similarly, the foundation of our bhakti, the Upadeshamrita instructions has to be there. Has to be all other things has to be standing on this foundation, without which the building will not sustain for long. That is the importance of Upadeshamrita. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Easier and difficult, that we are talking here. So Prabhupada makes a beautiful statement here in one of the purports in 4th canto. When devotional service becomes easy and when it is difficult. Because controlling mind and senses is always difficult for a conditioned soul. But Prabhupada mentions a beautiful lines here. Please read.
The great sage Narada has come to Dhruva under the directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. just to initiate him. Yet he is testing Dhruva's determination to execute the process. It is a fact, however, that for a sincere person, devotional service is very easy. But for one who is not determined and sincere, this process is very difficult.
So the choice lies with us. Whether how devotional service is easy or difficult. Money is good or bad. Knowledge is good or bad. Knife is good or bad. So everything depends on the person who is using it. So here also the process becomes easy and very fast when we are determined and sincere. But one who is not, it becomes a difficult process to tread ahead. So that he mentions in the Dromara section. And it's not so tough also, as well as we are discussing, though as a matter of fact we are trying to discuss the controlling mind and senses may appear to be very we need to be very strong and we should not do this, we should not do that. Definitely it's there, but it becomes quite easy in association when we are trying to come together regularly, read, hear, chant, and taking a proper association. Things become quite easy. Just like you are all practicing spiritual life from many years. And before coming to Krishna consciousness, we don't know about chanting 16 rounds and following regulative principles and eating only prasad or whatever. It becomes, for an ordinary person, it becomes quite difficult to even hear chanting 16 rounds, 2 hours every day, or not eating all other things outside and following four regulative principles may be very difficult. But it's by practice, you all mastered all these things. At the same time, so in the same way, we grow ahead little by little. Though the destination is far, but slowly, step by step, though it's far, every journey starts with small steps only. Definitely, we may, in olden days, all the acharyas were walking by foot. Though Vrindavan is far, but day by day walking, slowly, they reach to Vrindavan one day. So similarly, we also take small steps, but firm steps. And by that, we also grow in spiritual life and live up to the scriptures, what we are trying to read here. So then it becomes easier to make one's life successful in Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada's making signature and Vishwarup Mahotsav. So by naming as Goswami doesn't make him one, but by taming the mind and sense. So just by making name, what Prabhupada mentioning here, just by keeping title of Goswami doesn't make one, but by taming the mind and senses make one Goswami. So the book will take us from the level of Godas, trying to fulfill the demands of the senses Godas to Goswami. That is the main goal and main success of the book and our life, becoming Godas to Goswami. That's what essentially mentioned here in the beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. Tani sarvani samjamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hi yasya indriyani tasya prajna patishtita. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, he fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. See here, the samyamya means control. Controlling our senses, sarvani. But the main point is yukta asita matparaha. We have to focus on Krishna. That is the main point. We control all these senses definitely, but that is not part of bhakti. The direct core bhakti is to focus on Krishna, and by that it's easy process to. It will become one day vasha. The samyamya becomes vasha. Samyamya is control. Vasha means conquer. The control becomes conquering the senses. I think in this purport only Prabhupada mentions about serpent analogy. Maybe I think. So by the removing the teeth of the enjoying mentality, they are conquered. The senses are conquered. The snakes are conquered. The samyamya becomes vasha. Initially, we are controlling. Vasha means conquering. Conquering means you are not bothered about it. Just like Haridas Thakur was chanting, and there were many distractions. Many tests were there, 2-3 times. He was not at all trying to control his senses. What will happen? I cannot see, I cannot talk, I cannot do anything. He was not like that. He was simply absorbed in Krishna. He was just chanting the holy names. So by that, just by his chanting, hearing, that Mother Lakshahira became a great Vaishnavi. So that's the level of Vasha, because they are absorbed in Krishna, Matparaha. That became a Vasha. He conquered the senses. So control becomes conquer as we focus on Krishna more and more. Then we are established in steady intelligence. We start with our controlling the senses slowly, and conquering by absorbing in Krishna, in his thoughts. Slowly, it will definitely will happen as we grow in spiritual life. By chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Slowly and steadily, and with very focused and determined endeavor in chanting holy names. Okay, thank you so much. We'll pause here. Maybe if you have one question, I can answer. Other those who have, they can proceed ahead with your services.
Prabhuji, one question. So, will you be sending the notes that you are reading, maybe at least parts of it, so that we can revise it?
Yeah, I can. I don't have anything to reservation to keep it, but
Yeah.
I will keep on making notes for further, because as I start preparing more and more further verses also, but I can copy and paste separate documents and I can send.
Yeah, only the parts which you have already just
Yeah.
covered in the current class.
Sure.
If you can send me, I will circulate it to the rest of the class.
Sure, no problem.
And so, like, should we use this book while the class is on, or it is not required right now?
That's what I also wanted to ask all of you. How you prefer? Shall we just like preface I covered, because it's very profound and emphatic to go through the Prabhupada preface. I just wanted to check with all of you. How many of you want to go through book here? All the purports line by line. You can raise hand. Accordingly, I can try to mold myself. How it's a small book only, but because you may have time, or you may not have. Some of you are working, and maybe definitely, if you are confident that you can go through book later on, I can cover themes and explain more in detail other kind of explanation of the themes. But if you want me to go through book purport line, each para, that also can be done, but the time may take little more, and also it may take little time more.
I'll prefer, Prabhuji, the flow with the book in reference.
Pardon?
So basically, we can go purport by purport,
line by line.
Yeah, if it is okay for you.
For me, no problem, because all of you, if you're confident in going through later on purports in your free time, that I can explain a little bit here and then go ahead. But if you want, I can go by purport by para by para. All of how you can take a vote in your group.
Sure,
you let me know. It's not urgent. You can let me know later on.
Ravichandran Prabhu, you want to ask something? You can unmute.
Ravi Bro wanted. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, I am Jagannath Chandra. So, Prabhuji, actually, the reason is that, you are reading if you read and like there are still 12 shloks, right? How many shloks are there?
11 are there.
Huh?
11.
11, yeah. So if you go by purport, and then yeah, sometimes purport also needs deep explanation.
Yeah. So you are for going through line by line.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you want? Okay, okay. Okay.
Prabhuji, actually,
Sagar-
yeah, just one thing. So, because in so far all the books that we have covered, Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, it was line by line, and that helped us because uh, it becomes really difficult to after the class to open the book and read it fresh. So if it at least happens once in the class, most of the part is like traced in the mind, and then we can prepare it. It becomes easy comparatively.
Okay, sure. So I'll try to maximum part 99, 95, 92, 95, 99 part. I will try to cover each purport, each line, and try to explain. And if you have any doubts which is not covered much and you want to ask something, you can there also you can ask, and so that we will clarify there only.
Probably
Okay.
one more idea. If you can give some idea as to what you are going to cover in the next class, then I can request the students and myself also to at least
Yeah.
go on a cursory note and be like have some idea about it, so that we can move little faster compared to not knowing anybody and then you taking us
Yeah.
through the work.
I mean, just basically further classes will be on the purports only. So if you want to read the text, you can definitely can go through once or twice. That will be good, so that you can also ask many questions if you have on that subject matter. So if you want to go through the purports, please go through. And if you are
Sure.
already gone through purports and you want to read other things also, you have a Subodhini, Upadesham Subodhini is there by Varundashan Prabhu. So you can go through so that you can grasp more and understand. You can try to understand more, so they can grasp
Okay.
more. Yeah.
Okay.
This is
Anybody else? Anything else to say before we close?
how was today's session? Whether it is too high, too low, or too boring? What level
No,
you can
Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, it went very well. I think you covered all the required aspects there.
Suryavanshi Ramdas Prabhu, you want to say something?
Regarding that, any regarding the exam point of view, what will the questions and all? That book is having Prabhuji, that set of questions which we asked on NOI.
I think student handbook will have questions.
Okay then. Okay, no issue.
Accordingly, you can prepare.
Okay, bro. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for everything, Prabhu. Thank you everything. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, bro. Tomorrow we'll meet 2:30.
Yes, thank you, Guruji.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Bol,
Hare
Dandavad.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai.
Jai.
Upadesham